Welcome to our podcast and strap in for Movie Monday. Hi, I'm Minky Madison.
And I'm Jack Green.
Today on Movie Monday, we discuss His House, the drama horror thriller.
The synopsis is a couple escapes their war-torn country to start over in a new house that does little to comfort them.
What did you rate it?
I rated it between a 2.5 and a 3.
Me too. I really struggled with that. I kept wanting to do 2.5, but then I really liked the kind of twist that it had, and I upped it to 3.
Yeah, I struggled with that too, so I can definitely understand your 3. I probably would lean towards a 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was definitely, since I'm even questioning it, it should just automatically be the higher rating, I would think, huh?
Good idea, yeah.
Okay, stop and watch the movie first now, or strap in for major spoilers. Did you have any favorite lines?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I had 2, so I will go ahead. I always find a way. When they're being inspected to make sure they're keeping up with the house and following the rules and everything, and remember the walls are covered in holes.
Mm-hmm.
In front of the inspectors, the wife says to her husband, "Did you tell them about the witch?" Like knowing full well that he didn't, and it makes him sound crazy. And then she turns back to the inspectors and says, "My husband has been chasing it around the house with a hammer." And that cracked me up because they're like, what the hell is happening? And there's holes everywhere.
They're very serious characters, so, you know what I mean? Like, I guess I didn't, the comedy didn't hit with me. It could have, though, since they were so serious.
Yeah, I think it was meant to be funny, but you're right. They are very intense and like serious most of the time.
Yeah.
And I think he wasn't even really trying to be funny. It was more antagonizing him, but it came across funny because of the wording and everything, you know?
Yeah.
So it was that. And then my other one was when she said, "There are 2 tribes where I'm from. They're both killing each other. Depending on which one you belong to, you mark yourself. I marked myself with both. I survived by belonging nowhere." I liked this line, and it was really sad to think about because although she technically belonged to both because she had the markings of both, you can't really feel a sense of belonging with either of them when you know at any point that they could know the truth and kill you. It was sad.
Yeah. Did she have the marks right next to each other, though?
I don't think so, because they would see them, you would think.
I saw her, show her arm with the scars, and I didn't know if that was both marks right there. I can't imagine, like you said, that they would be, because that wouldn't make any sense at that point then.
I want to say the lady saw one, and my guess is she has other tattoos as well. Because, yeah, like, she would be caught instantly. I hope that wasn't a mess up on the show, because I don't know. I can't honestly verify, but it doesn't make sense, so I want to say that it's not that way, but I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah, that was sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's very tragic. So I'm going to say you probably didn't have a lot of pros for the movie then?
Actually, I had more pros than I had cons.
Oh, good. But they were probably significant in their scope.
Yeah. Do you want me to start with my cons, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Some boring, drawn-out scenes, which is always my biggest con, I feel like, with anything. And some of the time there were some really cliche horror elements that weren't really scary or super interesting. Like some of the like dream sequences, I want to say, and some of that type of thing. So it's not like it was bad per se. It's just I've seen that type of thing before, so it wasn't super intriguing to me. And then the only other con is really minor, but at one point he locks her in the house, and I feel like she could have easily escaped through a broken window, like break a window and get out. And she acted like it was super intensely hard to get out for some reason. Like, at least that was the impression I got.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking about that.
Yeah, it just seemed odd that they made it like it was this insurmountable thing. Like, I can never get out. And, like, you have holes all over the place. You could even probably make a hole in the wall because you obviously don't care about that, So I don't know. Just made me laugh. But that was really all my cons.
Okay. So I agree with you that there were periods of boringness, and the Apith was not visually stunning. It was kind of similar to The Ritual, that movie we watched with the monster and the ritual. It
Yeah.
was just heavily CGI, it felt like, and I think it's better off not to show it, or not show it in that way. I thought the ending was kind of predictable. What was happening, the source of all this, and I guess I could see it coming, maybe, I don't know why, but maybe other people would
Yeah.
disagree.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Did you feel like that? Did you see the child wasn't actually theirs? And
Oh, that they stole the child? No, that actually was a surprise to me. I feel like they did pretty good on that, but if you already knew that it was coming, I thought you just meant the house demon thing
oh, well,
and how
yeah,
that went down.
I've seen that in a number of films, and TV shows, and movies where you have like a country like the Sudan, or somewhere else in the world,
Mhm.
where they have to limit who's able to leave and flee, during these times of
Yeah.
war. And I've just seen it a number of times where they grab any child basically to
I
to
see.
get onto there. So I guess it's not that
You
I
know
saw
what?
it coming, it's that it was predictable.
You could see that playing out because it's been done. I haven't really seen that, but what comes to mind though is Titanic, when that guy is trying to get on the boat and he does that. He grabs a random girl. I don't know if you remember that, but
Yeah, I do remember that actually.
yeah, that's funny because I was thinking I haven't seen that at all in movies. Not that obviously it hasn't happened. Obviously you have, but yeah, I have seen that in Titanic, which isn't quite the same thing, of course, but close enough.
I believe I've seen it in an episode of Hey Arnold as well, the cartoon.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I could be wrong, but there was this episode of Hey Arnold with one of the tenants in the apartment complex that Arnold lives in with his grandparents, and there's a man named Mr.
Mhm.
Wynn, and there was like a special Christmas episode, I believe, where
Oh my
Mr. Wynn
God.
got to see his daughter, and the daughter was basically taken and put onto a helicopter to leave the country. You know what I mean? Because it was
Yeah.
so bad there, and they kind of got separated. So maybe it's not exactly the same thing, but it's this idea of like people having to flee their country, and they'll use kids to get sympathy.
That's funny. Yeah, I used to watch like every episode of Hey Arnold, but my memory of them is not good.
Probably connected back to cartoons, but
Yeah, no, it definitely is similar enough. Yeah.
that was really it in terms of cons. I didn't have many either, but as I mentioned to you, if they're significant enough, their number doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, that is true. Because if there's a big, like, glaring plot hole in the middle of the movie, it kind of ruins things to some degree.
Yeah, you think of it like a body, right? If you have one illness, but it's significant enough, like cancer, you're gonna die. So,
yeah,
you can have like 50 different chronic illnesses, and you'll live maybe a long life.
That's true.
So, to kill a movie, it doesn't take much.
Okay, so that was all your cons. That was all my cons. So do you want me to go into my pros? The music, honestly, like the score was a major plus for me because it was kind of intense. Like I don't know, something about it was really good and I really liked it. That was my favorite part, honestly. And it made me feel some type of way, even when nothing was really even happening, which is what you look for to make it more exciting. Yeah. And it gave a pretty eerie tone to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. And it's the most memorable part of it, too. It seemed pretty unique to me.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then it did have a few good creepy scenes, I would say, other than, like, you know, the stuff that was typical. There was some that wasn't. Like when he's looking in the vent. Well, I wouldn't say this isn't typical, but it did its job in the sense it was kind of creepy, if that makes sense. When he's looking into the vent and a dead-eyed woman is lying behind him.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I really didn't expect that, so it was good. And also, it was neat to me that the town was kind of maze-like in some ways, and she had a hard time orienting herself, which, as someone with no sense of direction, I could definitely empathize with feeling lost pretty much anywhere that I'm not familiar with. And it was also interesting the people she encountered, like the kids she ran into weren't really helpful, and they were kind of making fun of her in some way for some reason, even though there was no reason to. So it made the place feel odd and like something was off, which added to, you know, the horrorness of it, I guess. And also the men gave her all different directions, remember that? So I don't know if they were just fucking with her too or what, but the town just seemed off, which was interesting. I don't know that they necessarily explained why that was, unless the demon is just following her and doing, you know, causing stuff to be confusing. But it was interesting. I did like it.
Yeah. So
they find that an Apeth, which is a night witch, followed them there. So it's actually not even the house itself haunted. It's their fault, basically. And the walls tell her that if they leave and repay their debt, it'll bring their daughter, which I'm going to butcher her name because I don't really know how to say it, but like Neagek, I believe, something like that, who had passed away. So I get their incentive because they want the daughter back, but he doesn't believe her and says they have to destroy everything and burn the house. Well, it made me laugh because in the same breath of saying that they have to burn everything, he instantly takes her hair wrap off her head to burn in the fire, like immediately, like that second. I don't know about you, but it was really funny to me for some reason because he's like, we gotta burn everything, and then snatches her hair wrap. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I must have been alone laughing at that probably, but did you think it was funny?
That's
or
not something that struck me. I guess
okay.
maybe they did that because it's close to the people. So an item that belonged to someone, like, intimately. Like, you can't get closer than the clothes that we wear, the jewelry.
Yeah, no, I understood why he wanted to. It was the fasten. You know what I mean? Let's say we're having a conversation. I'm like, we have to burn the house, and then I take off your jacket. Like, I don't know. It's just like in the same breath, And even that wouldn't even be as funny. I don't know. I can't explain it, but it was a good time for me. I'm probably the only one in the entire world that watched the movie and laughed there, but it was a good time.
Yeah, I don't recall laughing at all.
I liked the twist that they actually stole Niagek from her. I don't know why I keep trying to say it from her mother. Because a large group is trying to get into the buses to escape the war, like as we mentioned, and there's not enough room, so they try to steal her. And well, they actually accomplish that. They steal her and board the bus, and then you see the mother screaming in the background, and then she gets shot down. And I hadn't really seen that in a movie that I at least recall, so it was like really intensely sad to watch in a really unimaginable situation on either side. To be so scared that you feel the need to steal someone's child to get on board to escape war, and also to watch someone steal your child and then get murdered, So it was definitely intense. And I've said that a lot. It was pretty intense. Are you even here?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay. I just haven't heard any words and it was cutting out earlier, so I'm like, am I alone? Okay. The cast and supporting cast were good in my opinion. And I really liked the inspector guy. His name was Mark, and he cracked me up. I just liked his reactions to them. He had some good facial expressions and stuff. And then my final note was, he says, your ghosts follow you. They never leave. They live with you. It's when I let them in, I could start to face myself. And I liked that because with the dream sequences and flashbacks and suffering and the recollection of what they endured throughout the movie, I think it's kind of a metaphor for the pain we go through in life. And only you and those involved really know the pain and see the ghosts, if you want to refer to them as ghosts, that you have, that you carry with you and have to work through and accept because they don't go away, like your memories and things. And refugees have so much fear and pain just forced on them, really. And they're forced to go through so many stressful and uncertain things just to survive and live their lives, basically. So it definitely gave things some perspective, and it was an interesting watch. And that was all. Your turn.
Yeah, it has a good dark atmosphere and visuals throughout the movie. The myth or story of the Apis was interesting. Unfortunately, it was more interesting than the actual creature when it appeared. But I enjoyed the mythology there. You get a little bit of cultural stories that are maybe oral histories even. I'm not sure. Yeah, I would like to actually look into that and see if an Apis is actually a real mythology of the Sudan, released around the area. So yeah, I liked some of the flashbacks. You get really good visuals of like the sunset and the water, and it was never too dark where I couldn't figure out what was happening. And that's often a problem with some movies I've seen, like Lord of the Rings. If you have too dark of scenes, it can be difficult to see where the characters are and what's actually going on. And I kind of end up detaching from the film, at least for that time. But yeah, I liked the scene with the hole in the wall where he's pulling out like the seaweed type of rope. It was like a mixture of both.
Yeah.
That was interesting. And the face paint, just the stuff they did was really like creepy. So I liked that as well. There wasn't really any significant jump scares or anything. Though I'm not a big fan of these to begin with anyway. And I hadn't thought about what you said about the town being oddly structured. But the people were mean to them, which is really sad.
Unwarranted too. They didn't do it. Like, she was seriously just asking questions, and they're just like,
what it comes down.
Yeah, but it almost felt like strange, almost like it wasn't real. And there were a lot of dream sequences, so I do wonder if some of it was in her head, because she kind of went into these like dream stuff for a lot, because there was no reason to be mean to them. So yeah, either it was racism or it was not real, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I like the overall story. I didn't think that the supernatural part of the plot fit in well with it. In my opinion, I wanted to see more of that done differently. But I like the story.
You mean more like the drama part of it rather than incorporating horror with it? Is that what you mean, or?
Yeah, it wasn't an evenly mixed story. Basically, the elements weren't mixed evenly enough for me. So I would rather one be more predominant than the other. Like either add more horror to it
I
or
see.
add more story and backstory to it and make it a little more complex in that part.
That's fair.
That's just how it struck me. I've only seen it once. Maybe if I watched it again, my opinion would change. So yeah, it's an interesting watch. I'd like a little more of that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it for me.
Yeah, me too. This was a short one.
35 minutes, I believe. So it's a fairly short runtime for a film.
Oh, I was talking about our episode.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think that might be why it's a little shorter, is because it's a shorter movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
We can do the current occupant if you want.
Oh, yeah. That was awful. Okay, we can do that. Let me grab my notes for that. That was such a terrible movie. That movie was so bad, I forgot about it instantly. Like, I forgot that was even one to do. Okay, I have my notes. Okay. They're not in order, but...
lead us into this next step.
Okay, and today we're going to do another movie as well, The Current Occupant, which is a something film, because I cannot actually find it on here. Hold on. Just 1 second. Which is a drama, fantasy, horror. At least it pretends like it is. And the synopsis is, a man awakens in an asylum with really no memory of how he got there or who he is. And for some reason, he believes he's the president of the United States and tries to figure out if that's the case or not. What would you rate it? Or what did you rate it, rather?
Maybe 1.5.
I gave it 1, honestly, because
it
was awful.
I see what it was trying to do, so I kind of gave it the benefit of the doubt, but it failed to deliver on multiple levels, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
My pros, if you want, about it. I like that long drawn out, like building this plot that turns out to have to actually be there. So that was good, and I like the introduction with the violin music playing the national anthem. Like, I just like the ambience of that. That was like creepy. Which led me to believe it was going to be good, like, because I was like, "Wow, this is kind of a cool opening sequence."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my only pro.
The group therapy sessions was kind of funny with the guy talking about him being the emperor. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I mean, but other than that, so you go ahead and give me your pros if I haven't said it already.
Honestly, it was really the credits, and like you said, that guy was kind of funny.
Same as me. I figured, that's why.
I don't have any other ones. Yeah, cons. I got cons. I feel like there was no character development, like at all on anyone. I think the only thing they accomplished was I really didn't like the people that were holding him there. So I guess they made them evil enough to where they were annoying as fuck, and I couldn't stand looking at them. They were really annoying, all of them. Like, I think I want a villain that I hate, but also kind of like in some ways or can empathize with in some ways, and there was nothing with them for me.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but
here nor there in terms of character development. I didn't hate them, and they weren't so horrible to him that it was appalling. I mean, they were by no means nice, but they weren't, pernicious or horribly evil.
Yeah, I think they were just annoying.
Too much in mystery. I just didn't care, and that's really what happened with this film. Like, they didn't build anything enough for me to actually care in terms of character.
Exactly.
And some of the test scenes were boring, like in my opinion, which I thought they were going for the high intensity thing, and it did not pay off. It didn't come across that way at all. It was just, I was waiting for it to be over with. Test scenes was just showing images to him, and he saw these like glowing sphere heads like that everyone had apparently. I don't know if that meant they were aliens, or I don't know what that even meant. I thought it was cool, colorful, but I don't care.
Yeah. The nurse was supposedly his wife. That was stupid because that if this were all real and the vice president locked him in there and everything, that he wouldn't let his wife work there because not like his wife would have been a secret. It would have been the first lady. So I thought that was dumb, and it kind of gave away that she wasn't real because it didn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
I think they thought they were being clever by having her be a nurse but not talk with anyone there, and
Yeah,
never felt like she was actually part of the the situation going on. I knew something was going on with her, but once
right,
again I didn't care because yeah,
right. And the ending when they tried to make it like it was all a test and just to bring him back, and then it was actually that he was really crazy. That like none of that was surprising. So there was nothing there. Like even their wrap up, you were like, "Can we get on with the movie already so I can go? Like,
yeah. I
can we be done?"
Speaking of that scene, when he gets in the elevator and at the end and goes up and it's the White House and everyone's there. I love how they just let him sit in the chair in pajamas that are, or not pajamas, but like mental ward clothes that are dirty. You think they would say, they would clap, then they would say, let's get you cleaned up, let's get you back in the game. No, just go sit down. So I knew where it was going immediately.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think the only reason they got away with that was because of the fact that it wasn't actually true. Remember, he really was just crazy in there.
Yeah,
At least that's
just
how
that's
the
my
ending
point though, that they gave
alludes.
it away too quick by the way they did it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. I agree. And also when his Secretary of State was shouting, "I saw you on TV, blah blah blah." So if she's not crazy and she was doing that to give him a hint, why the fuck she do it like that? I've been F bombing a lot because this movie
Yeah,
sucks.
it was sad. I had
But
hoped it would be good.
yeah, I liked the idea. Like the concept sounded interesting, but holy God, I should have
I
watched the
think that
trailer
would
and then I
seal the
probably
deal.
wouldn't have
I'm a
wanted to
big
watch
trailer
it.
guy,
But
just because of movies like this. And
yeah, I'm starting to agree with you. I've always been anti-trailer for the most part. I will watch them, but very rarely. And sometimes I mean you can't help it if it's on
yeah,
TV. You're like seeing the same trailer like 1,500 times. But I like being surprised, and I feel like a lot of times they give away too much in the trailer. Like sometimes it's the funniest parts in the movie, and you're like, so then when you go to watch it, it's lame because you already know what's going to happen, and that type of thing. So I try not to, but then it would save me from stuff like this. So
and I gotta
maybe
say,
it is worth it. I don't know.
this is part of the Into the Dark series on Hulu, and I've watched a number of movies offered through or shows, or whatever you want to call them, and from Into the Dark, and I've been pleased with none of them. So I'm starting to give up on that. Well, I had
Yeah,
no
so it's a good
idea.
thing I picked one. Which I was led to believe it was a movie, for one. And then I found out afterwards when it started saying the dark into the dark or something. I was like, what is
Well,
happening?
you've
And I was like,
learned
oh, it's a series.
Into the Dark is only where these movies should stay. They need to go into the vault or something.
Yeah, that's sad because I like fantasy horrors, which is what this is supposed to be. But oh
Yeah,
my
I think
God.
they meant well. But then again, I think everyone that makes a movie means well. No one attempts to make a bad
Hmm.
movie. But yeah, the actors felt amateur, like they felt like caricatures, like the guards, and the way they were treating them
Hmm.
and their personalities.
Yeah, I
They
did. Also, if the Secretary of State tried to stop them, why the hell would they put her in the same place as him? Like, you know what I mean? So like it wasn't even logical what they were doing. If this was all real and they really were trying to take over the government, for one, they wouldn't leave him alive, which he did point out, and they said that they wanted to keep him for sympathy. That just doesn't make any sense. So like the logic behind it doesn't even
Yeah, it's
isn't
really
even
bad.
solid.
And it was never clear how many cameras they had in this facility. Towards the end, they show him scenes of himself all alone, not actually talking to anyone, which is supposed to be this huge revelation. But then the question becomes, if they had that many
Mhm.
cameras, what was going on to begin with? Like, how is he moving about, and how is the nurse moving about?
Right? Yes, they proved their own.
Yeah, it was a logic
Yes. Oh
failure
my
there, and
God. Oh,
it just
that's.
demolishes an already failing film. So,
I can accept some things that aren't logical in movies because it's a movie, but when it's proving its own illogicalness, not that illogicalness is a word, but I'm using it. It pokes holes in
yeah,
itself. You're
I
like, are
mean,
you serious?
I like some of the stuff that was funny though is they were actually trying too hard to be creepy. Like the main guard antagonist of him is he said something to the effect of "Come with me, Mr. President," And yeah, it was just this, I don't know, it just felt corny. And it's sad because they did not intend it to be.
Yes, it was.
Really was trying to be creepy.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I don't know how it could be seen as anything but hilariously, and not hilarious in a good way, like you said, corny, where you're just like, what am I watching right now? Like, it's not scary, and it's not even normal. I don't even can't explain it. It was bad. Oh, you do? Because I actually don't. So yes, tell me your quote.
That's what the guard says, and he says in response, "You mean once I leave the hospital?" And he says, "Yeah."
You cut off for me, so I'm not sure what you said. You'll never be alone, and what was the other thing you said?
Is what the guard says during the end of his physical therapy session, and he says in response, "You mean once I leave the hospital?" And he says, "Yeah." So I think they were going for a creepy moment there.
Oh yeah.
Instead of recovering, for a moment, he thinks something must be up, and they're actually kidnapping him, which is the case. But once again, you get a little peek of, this might be able to recover itself, but it doesn't. Nope.
And then it crashes and burns before your eyes, and you're like, thank God, now I can turn it off. That's what's funny. Didn't it feel like it was 3 hours? Like, I kept looking at the time, and I almost stopped you, like, several times, like, hey, can we not finish
I was able to get through it, but I don't believe I stayed conscious through the whole movie.
Yeah, what if it was amazing and we just stopped paying attention because it was so boring? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, my consciousness kept saying goodnight to me.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a rough one, man. I don't recommend it. I don't think it was good. You can recommend it all day. I'm just going to tell everybody, don't watch it.
The current occupant should remain the only occupant, which is to say, don't watch this film. It's not good. If it does appear for free on TV and you're in duress, you can get through it, though. So that's all I'll say about that one. His House was definitely an interesting film. However, I don't believe I would recommend it. I didn't feel that there was enough substance to it. But from what I see, it got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, it's gotten very good reviews.
Really?
But in my personal opinion, it's not something I enjoyed terribly.
Yeah, I think I liked it more than you did. I don't think it's amazing by any means, but I do think it's watchable. And and it did have some good, like, I don't know, I feel like it was just okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not terrible and it's not great, but it's just there. And you could choose to watch it one day if you would like, but it's not anything to write home about, which I don't even know what that means. Was that saying made up, like if someone was at camp and they're writing back super exciting things to their mom?
Either people, like kids at camp, or definitely soldiers, writing home to their families and wives about something they experienced that was good.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's funny. I was just, because I say certain phrases and I never really, I don't always stop and think about what the hell I'm actually saying because I'm so used to just saying it.
Social media now is instant. So no wonder that typing home, texting home. But yeah, anyway, I would not recommend it. Until next time.
Yes.
That's a wrap.